What is up, guys? So for this Tuesday tip, I wanted to share something very near and dear to my heart, and that is how to make perfect cream of rice every time. Um, this has been a very tried and true developed technique over the last 5 years and thousands of bowls of cream of rice. I wish I was joking, but I'm actually serious when I say that. I've eaten thousands of bowls of this over the last 5 years. So, anyways, first thing that you need to do to make cream of rice is, if you're using this one, throw it in the trash. Apart from being really not tasty compared to some of the options out there, there is a health risk with this one. If you eat a lot of cream of rice like I do, if you turn it around and look at the nutrition facts, a quarter cup is a serving size, so 45 grams is a serving size. 45 grams, one serving, has 70% of your daily iron intake. So if you're eating this for 2 meals a day like I do, at 3 servings a piece, and then you're also taking a good multi-mineral and multivitamin, long story short, you can end up with your iron way too high. So don't eat Orange Box. It tastes like shit and has a bunch of iron in it. What should you eat? That. You don't have to get a 55-gallon drum of it, but Pride Foods and a couple other brands on the market have put out, really good tasting hot cereals that don't have a shit ton of iron in them. So for people like me that eat a lot of it, that's awesome. So that's step number one, is make sure you're not eating Orange Box and getting way too much iron and giving yourself iron poisoning. Step two, and this is where we get to making perfect cream of rice, is there is a formula to it. It is a science. So you're going to need to know however much you're eating in grams. I think the serving size is done in cups on the side of the bag, but if you're a bodybuilder, you should have a food scale, right? So this is actually my real life so I'm eating 100 grams today. So we're going to throw 100 grams in there. And then this is where all my years of trial and error come in handy, and y'all don't get to do any pissing in the wind with making bad bowls. You need to add however many grams you're eating times 3.4 in water in grams. So for 100 grams cream of rice, 340 grams of water. Let me pop that in there, and then we'll get to cooking it. Alright, so made a pit stop for water, so we're going to tear that out, and like I said, 100 times 3.4, 340 grams of water. Throw that in there. Did I grab enough? Like a glove. I've done this once or twice. Okay, so that's 346, but close enough for government work, right? So we're going to throw that in there. If you're cooking 80 grams or less, first cook, do it for 2 minutes. If you're cooking 80 grams or more, first cook, do it for 3 minutes. So I'll be back with y'all when this is done cooking. I'm not going to sit here and talk for 3 minutes. I don't have that much energy right now. Alright, so that is the first 3 minutes down. You can see still got some liquid in there. Looks like we want it to, and so after that, just give it a quick little stir, because what'll happen is it'll start like clumping and cooking unevenly in the middle. And if you just cook it all the way through, you'll get really weird dried clumps, and then some that are really liquidy still. So quick stir them back in there. Another 3 minutes. Same rule. Honestly, if you're under 80, go for 2 first, 2 second. If you're over 80, 3 and 3. This should be pretty good to go after we cook it for the second time for 3 minutes. And yeah, so once we pull it out, I will say this, I always stir whey into mine. Not all wheys were created equal for making cream of rice. I don't know what it is, what additive, what ingredient it is, I don't know, but some, no matter how much moisture you cook out of it, when you add the whey, it makes it really soupy and runny. So you'll have to experiment. I'm not going to throw any brands under the bus, even though I do know most of them, because I've tried all of them in my cream of rice at this point. But I can report that Labrada's Hydro, vanilla, and chocolate work beautifully in cream of rice. I'll show you all what it looks like whenever this gets done. Alright, so that is second 3 minute round done, and pull it out. Show you all what it looks like. It is not, liquidy at all anymore. It's slightly, clumped look if you stir it, but it's all really soft and it's really hot, so don't burn your hands. So like I said, I always add whey into mine. If you're not going to add whey in, this is 100% good to go as is. If you do add whey in, depending on the brand and how much and yada yada, you might have to add water. But I will say that's where a lot of people go wrong, is prematurely adding water to their bowls of cream or ice. It will look like a hot mess at first when you try to start stirring it up, but you have to be persistent with it, otherwise you'll put too much water and it'll get soupy, and no one wants to eat soupy cream or ice. So there we go, that's 50. So I'll show you what I mean by you gotta be persistent. So it's almost like pancake batter or something, right? Best pancake batter, you really gotta stir to get it to go. So you see that almost. There we go. And so that's got, you can see, like really close, it's got like a little bit of chalkiest look to it. So a little bit of water. And honestly, at this point, it's almost just a preference consistency thing. If you like it like super thick, it's not going to taste bad how it was, but yeah. And so that is a pretty much ready to rock and roll bowl of cream or rice. You know, depending on where you're at and what you're eating and, you know, what your flavor profile preferences are, you really can do anything with it. I'm a big fan of putting honey and almond butter on mine. A lot of people like putting frozen fruit in it. I know Pride does a taco flavored one that's really good with like meat. You make like savory bowls. I've seen people do like shrimp and grit knockoffs with the unflavored one. So really versatile food. At the end of the day, it's literally ground up white rice. So it's about as clean a carb as you could ever possibly eat, and about as good a carb pre-workout as you could ever eat. Let's see if it passes the DQ Blizzard test. It does. Good to go.